Found ourselves another winners match, and here we go. Spawning in the top left hand corner of site Delta, we have our blue Terran player representing Twisted Minds, leading the series 1-0. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Protoss player. It is EastToss. Another decider match that is ongoing. We are jumping into game number 2. But again, big shout out to Strange. Strange did qualify, and Knifey's qualified as well. And I mean, if you want to take that approach, this is another qualifying match here between these two players. It is all best of 3s, no best of 5s. Winner of the series does advance on. The loser of this series will face off against Art. And fun fact, Art is lying in wait, so I may just follow this. I may just follow this to its conclusion in this group. Again, Shameless is still waiting for his opponent, and I wanted to follow Shameless, but I mean, we found ourselves with other matches instead. I was quickly going over some results as well. So UED Soldier did take down Mini Zerg 2-0, and GG Machine did take down Wannabe Björn 2-1 as well. So a lot of matches are coming in. A lot of results are coming on forward. Again, Nicoract was coming into this group as the favored player, as he's going for an economic opener, going for a Rax Expand. A single gas opener here means a faster command center. It means a delayed factory as opposed to a double gas opener. So a more economic opener here from Nicoract as he gets across the map. And again, Nicoract I would have said is favored in this group, but Nicoract has been a little bit shaky here. He dropped the map earlier to Zardiant, and likewise, EastToss took down Art 2-0. So EastToss, he is here as the dark horse, already taking down one of the big names in his group. Can he take down another? We'll see. Interesting choice. So EastToss, fun fact, he actually didn't scout. He didn't probe scout, so he doesn't know that his opponent went for an economic opener. Likewise, he doesn't know that Nicoract is going Marine first either. So because EastToss is being greedy, because he didn't scout, he's going for a safety shield battery in the main base. Also, sorry, it was a Reaper first, not a Marine. But going for a safety shield battery is going to be finishing it off just in time for the Reaper. There we go. So yeah, a very greedy opener here out of EastToss. We even have a safety shield battery on the low ground as well. And we will save that probe. Oof, oh god, that's unfortunate. Oh, that's brutal. Force field gets thrown down. That means we have no hallucination. That means we have no scout across the map. And the Reaper was not killed. Ay. A rough moment there for EastToss. He gets a couple of shots in, but the Reaper will escape. Behind this, a Robo Opener. Very interesting. This is a little bit old school. So, Robo Openers in this matchup typically lead into something like a Fast Colossus or even a Disruptor drop. But this used to be very much so in the meta against 3 Raxes. Speaking of, 3 Raxes on the way. I wonder, because we're jumping in mid-series, I wonder if this happened in game 1. Very curious. Especially because EastToss didn't scout. So I have to assume that that's the case. I have to assume either Nicoract did this in game 1, or they're familiar with each other, and Nicoract does this quite often on site Delta. It is going to be a 3-Rax build here from Nicoract. The way this works is that we're building up an abundance of Marines. We're building up a hefty Marine count here, and we're going to be hitting a timing with Stim and Combat Shields. So a pretty strong timing with these 3 Raxes. Going to be eventually a pretty powerful push. But traditionally, a good way to shut this down is to go for, this is different, is to go for a Robo Opener into a Safety Immortal into Colossus. Fast Colossus completely shuts this down, but this looks like something different. We're going Warp Prism first. Are we going Disruptor? Gates are going to be on the way. The Robotic Spade does finish up. Hallucination gets a full scale. We get confirmation of the 3 racks. And there it is. Colossus does begin. But the scan! The counter scan here from Nicoract. He sees everything he needs to. He sees the Prism, the Bay, and of course the rover that is producing. So upon seeing this, Nicoract can make a choice. Either he can commit, and oh, he is pushing very early, by the way. But the Colossus should come out in time. We can either commit, of course, or we can transition. Nicoract, he can back off, throw down a third TC, throw down a starport, and work on the next step. like even a second eBay for double upgrades. But no, Nicoract is pushing, is trying his luck. I'm not too fond of this. Hopefully he doesn't commit up the ramp because, again, the first Colossus is already here. We have sentries, we have force fields, we stim up the ramp. And we run into a Colossus. Force fields to force this army to stay put. Yeah, we force it to commit. Good juggling here from EastToss. And EastToss, he lost 1 Stalker and 1 Sentry for 7 Marines and 2 Marauders. A solid trade there from EastToss. And Nicoract, I mean, he scanned ahead of time. He knew what was waiting for him. And this was an overextension. This was a bit of overconfidence out of Nicoract, or maybe just misjudging the situation a little bit. He was shut down. And now EastToss, he has a lot of momentum. He has how many gateways behind this? Oh my god, 5 gates in total. Did I say 5? I should have said 7. 7 gates in total here from EastToss. Going for a big counterattack. Colossi knocking down these Marines, knocking down these Marauders as well. Good force fields, just making sure that the army has to commit. There is no way out, and every single Marauder goes down. And now from here, EastToss can keep pushing. His third base is going to be denied. And Nicoract has almost nothing left. There's almost nothing left back at home. We force a cancel here on this CC, and we push in towards the natural. And what is our army looking like? We have 3 Marines and 2 Marauders. The boys are being pulled, and the Colossi, they go ham on this army. Oh my, so many SCVs go down. The juggling looking too good, and we are going to the ace match. GG gets called. EastToss ties it up 1-1. GG. For the first time in tonight's tournament, in tonight's broadcast, we have an ace match. Let's go. Let us go. But again, I have to fault Nicoract a little bit here, because remember, that scan into the main was beautiful. The scan told him everything he needed to know when it came to the Colossus opener of his opponent. And Nicoract, he went for the dive anyway. He pushed out anyway, despite seeing what was waiting for him, and he was punished for it. As soon as Nicoract lost his army, as soon as he lost his first force, counterattack. We immediately counterattack, we double down with 7 gateways, and EastToss, as a result, snowballed out of control. As we are switching servers. Okay. We are going to be switching servers here. So we're going into the ace match, and we are hopping over to the European server. Now, I did mention before that it was bugged, and it is, but they do want to play on EU for the ace match, just to make sure that there's as little ping as possible, which makes sense. We want to play with as little ping as possible, and we are going to have to relog and head over to the European server. Here we go. And we'll see how this ends. I did mention before that EastToss, he already caused an upset. He already took down Art 2-0, and to force Nicoract into the ace match, this is wild. Can he go the distance? Can he go all the way? Can he shut down a player of the caliber of Nicoract? Again, Nicoract is a more well-known player in the scene. He's a solid Terran player in his own right. I would say that TvP is his speciality. Very much so known for his Terran versus Terran. Hold on, I'm just reloading. God damn it. But Nicoract, his speciality is TvT. We've seen, fun fact, we've casted and seen Nicoract many times defeat Björn, for example, in OOC events, in OOC King of the Hills. TvT is where he typically thrives, but here against Protoss, EastToss, he is making it happen. He is making some magic happen here. We started to relog. Not like this. We'll get there, we'll get there. We made it. I only had to reload 3 times. Let's go. I reload 3 times and we made it in. We made it in. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, here we go. We have our ace match. We have our game 3, and it's going to be on Oceanborn. Fun fact, our players had to reload multiple times as well. But we're all in. We all made it. Beautiful. All does end here. As a reminder, the loser of this series faces off against Art in the next round. And spawning in the top left-hand corner. Oh, as there we go. In the top left-hand corner of Oceanborn, we have our red Terran player representing Twisted Minds being forced into the ace match. It is Nicoract. And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the green Protoss player. Tying up the series, forcing the ace match, it is EastToss. We go. Just gonna be catching up in the chat. Are you on Christmas? Am I in the future? Ah, Merry Christmas, Pappy. Merry Christmas. Welcome in the chat. As we do have Nicoract looking to once again go for a more economic opener. We'll see if Nicoract goes for a 3-axe again. If you recall, winding it back if you weren't here for game number 2, Nicoract did commit to a 3-axe against a kind of blind robo opener into Colossus, and Nicoract was shut down. I'm curious if that was because Nicoract did play this build in game 1 as well, and I'm hoping that we mix it up here in game 3, but we'll see. We'll see what Nicoract does decide to go for. As for the time being, it's looking like an economic opener. It is going to be a Rax expand out of Nicoract. A single gas was taken, so economic opener from our Terran player. Meanwhile, EastToss going for a standard opener himself, going for a gate cyber expand. Nothing too crazy, except EastToss is going to be chronoing out his first zealots. Okay. We delay our expansion in favor of a zealot first here. We're going to be worlding across the map. Meanwhile, Nicoract, I mean, he saw it with the SCV Scout. He saw the gateway was producing. He saw that, of course, the Nexus was delayed. And he throws down the CC on the high ground. So a good response here by Nicoract. Good response so far. Reaper stays at home, and the Zealot is going the long way around. But as we do skirt the edge of the map, we will still come across the Reaper. Is still going to be here, and we should be able to shut this Zealot down. As Zealot takes a lot of hits, does confirm the lack of CC on the low ground. We dip into the main, and we do get eyes on the CC as well. We get some damage done here, but the Zealot will fall. And again, we at least confirm the opener. We confirm the faster command center, but Nicoract is going to be forced into a more delayed opener, as he's going to have to float it over to its location. Meanwhile, we continue with our aggression. Stalker has arrived, going to try and delay this bunker. Oh, and we should be able to. SCV does go down. Good pickoff here by EastToss. We are continuing to rally across the map, by the way. Behind this, we're getting to our tech of choice. It's going to be a Twilight Council build here from EastToss. Not a robo this time. It is going to be a Twilight Council. With that should be Blink. This bunker is going to be cancelled. Reaper is ignoring this army going across the map. And the bunker is buying a lot of time. Oh, that was a kill, not a cancel. That should not have happened. Uh-oh. That was a kill instead. Reaper, it gets across the map. We have a Stalker back at him to defend. We have our Stalker in position. Reaper goes for the dive, does get eyes on the tech. We have confirmed the Twilight Council. A good scout here out of Nicoract, but he should be shut down. Now, the question suddenly becomes... It is going to be a Twilight Council opener. It is going to be Blink, that is true, but how committed will we be? We have one gateway on the low ground, we have one gateway on the high ground so far, 2-gate Blink, which can lead into an economic opener. 2-gate Blink leads into a faster third, or we could throw down additional gateways. We could throw down a 3rd and 4th gateway as well, and be even that much more committed. So we'll keep an eye on EastToss. We'll see how aggressive this build is going to be. There it is. We have a 3rd gateway at least, and we double down That is a 4th gateway. So 4-gate blink from EastToss. Very aggressive. Now, this is not all in. He should still eventually expand behind this, but it is very aggressive nonetheless. We should be prioritizing a Warp Prism with this Robo, and we're going to be sending everything across the map. Meanwhile, Nicoract goes for the scan, and he does confirm all the gateways. He saw the gateway on the low ground, he can count the gateways in the main, he's fully aware of the Blink Stalkers, and back at home, he starts tank production. There's the bunker. Very necessary, very good reaction so far. Nicoract, he has 1 bunker on the low ground alongside a tank. He's got a bunker on the high ground alongside a 2nd tank as well. Again, Nicoract has to take a very strong defensive stance. We did invest into an initial Banshee. So far, the Stalkers do not find a way in. But once EastToss gets high ground vision, we can blink into the main base. That is why we need the bunker in the main as well, alongside this tank. So far, really good positioning. This tank is a little bit further to the south, though, which means we can blink into the main. We can ignore the bunker, we can ignore the tank, and we can go straight for the mineral line. There is an opening here for the Protoss. Here comes the Observer. Here comes the high ground vision. More Stalkers are on the way. At the same time, here comes the Banshee. I believe unscattered. There's nothing at home to defend. Ooh, EastToss hyper-fixated on his aggression, and the Banshee comes in. The Banshee does slip in, and we force a recall even. Uh-oh. Force a recall back home. EastToss, he was about to commit. He was about to dive into the main, and now he has to race back home. He races back home. He does have eyes on the Banshee. Prism is on the way, but Nicoract, this one lone Banshee has done so well for himself. He's done so much for Nicoract. Behind this, EastToss is going to be taking his 3rd. But he invested so much. How many Stalkers? We have 14 Stalkers, and all of this could have been 1 less gateway, could have been a faster 3rd base, better production, better economy, better tech. We invested so much into these Stalkers, we have to make use of them. We have to use them somehow, some way. And she's dipping in between the bases. Back at home, we have a 2nd bunker. We're up to 3, 4 tanks. We are so well fortified. It's too late. These Stalkers, they shouldn't achieve too much at all here across the map. So a pretty strong start. A strong start for the Terran. Yeah, we salvage. We realize we're safe. Stim is about to finish. Combat shields, all these upgrades. And from here, Nicoract, it's going to be his turn to make a choice. And there it is, 3rd CC. 3rd CC is on the way for our Terran player. We are looking for a 3rd base. We're looking to expand into a longer game behind this bush. Solid scan there from Nicoract. Just shut down the Observer. We are pushing. As we move out, Prism is moving in. Good move here out of EastToss, but he's going to bleed out a lot of Stalkers. Stalkers going to be going down. We do drop into the main. But there are reinforcements. There are Marines and Marauders back at home. We go for a warp in, a decent warp in, but we're going to shut this down, and here comes the death ball of an army from Nicoract. EastToss in a lot of trouble. Does have a Colossus. Does have not just 1, 2 Colossi. He swipes away at those Marines, but the tanks, they siege. They siege up. They force back the army. There's a shield battery. There is going to be an overcharge towards the 3rd base. Tanks, they are edging closer. Meanwhile, the Zealot run-by gets cleaned up. The Prism gets cleaned up. EastToss, he's up against the wall. Up against the wall at this point. Reinforcements are being rallied across the map. Nicoract, he shuts down the gateway. Disruptor has arrived. We have to commit. And there's just not enough to break these tanks. The tanks are going to be going down. Big Nova goes off. A big connection here on the tanks, and we will shut this down. Did I speak too soon? Oh. Go as EastToss does force this back. We do have reinforcements on the way. The Colossus looking very exposed. Reinforcements are on the way. EastToss barely does hold. Nicoract has to retreat, has to back off. Thankfully, it's not all in. Remember, 3rd CC is done, and we can land it on location. But EastToss gets away with his own 3rd base. He does survive. We have 1 Colossus, 1 Disruptor. Prism is on the way. And Nicoract, instead of going for a frontal push towards the 3rd, we're going for a drop. Going for a double drop into the main base. Here we go. And EastToss, do we have anything in position? We do not. We don't have energy for recall either, and this is going to get damage done. As EastToss gets ready to push out, we drop into the main. And probes are falling! Goes to the scan just to make sure nothing can come up. We do have one lone Colossus looking very exposed. And Nicoract will pick up, will respect it. Gets what? 25 probe kills in total. Oh my god. That's insane. I mean, that was the Banshee earlier alongside the drop. 10 plus workers go down in the main. We are building up a death ball of an army, and EastToss is struggling. Like, EastToss, he may have survived the initial push, but remember, the damage that was done earlier, the damage is being done now. Never goes up. It's a couple of units. But again, 26 probes in total. We don't have WSS game hearts, so we have to count. We do have to count manually here, but it's all good. Drop does fall back. And Nicoract, he's just building himself up. There's nothing pressuring Nicoract from pushing. That's the thing. Like, he can just chill, take up 4th base, take up into Vikings, into Ghosts, EMP. Nicoract is looking comfortable. EastToss is one that has to make some magic happen. And we do pick up a full medevac. Nice pickup. Full medevac goes down. Storm is on the way. And this is the thing. EastToss with his army has a lot of potential. Disruptors, Storm, there is potential to fight up, to punch up, despite being at a supply disadvantage. But everything has to go right, everything has to go well for EastToss, and we are pushing out? I'm not so sure about this. We can't really fight this. Never goes up. Oh, we do catch the army. Nicoract a little bit distracted by the Zealots. Thus did distract him, did take it over to the face. A good moment here for EastToss. A very necessary moment at that. But very nicely done. EastToss, he hasn't come back yet, but we're on the road. We're on the road to recovery. Observer gets sniped. Ghosts are underway. +1 ship weapons for those Vikings. We're making 4 Vikings at a time. So Colossi aren't going to be as secure. They aren't going to be as reliable. It's going to be all about positioning. These Stalkers, they need to protect these Colossi from the Vikings as best they can. EastToss does come across some of these Marauders. Does get a handful of them. Those could be dipping on in, but yeah, we are in position. We shut them down. We have +2 upgrades on the way for EastToss. Not too bad. Like, he's, you know, got upgrades on the way at least. A Storm has completed. How many High Templar do we have? We have 4 High Templar in total, each with at least 1 Storm. A Zealot drop is getting ready to go into the natural. 4th base is about to be taken. And here we go. EastToss is pushing. We have a drop into the natural. We have a Zealot runway on the right-hand side, and the main armies are going to be clashing.
Taking damage. Terrible damage.
He's a deep enjoyer. Here we go. Zealots into the mineral line. SCVs are getting picked up. At the same time, good EMP here on that first High Templar. But a good Storm gets thrown down on the Vikings, on the Marines. Another big Storm, and the Nova goes off as well. Good connections, but is it enough? Every single Colossus goes down. That is a lot of Vikings. 11 Vikings. Oh my god, and we can chase this down. We can even land. Even though we had a good Storm, even though we had some good Novas, it was still not enough. Just goes to show how far ahead Nicoract was. 2 more Storms. Big Storm here on the Vikings. Oh my god, so many Vikings going down. We have 1 Storm left. Big connection. Does blanket the army. And EastToss, he takes a decent fight, but can he hold on to his 4th? Can the 4th base be saved? There are just so many Marauders. Far too many Marauders here for Nicoract. He stims on forward, shuts down the army, breaks through the High Templar, breaks through the Colossus and the Stalkers. And there's almost nothing left here. GG gets called. Nicoract will take the series 2-1, making it into the next round. GG. Qualifying for the round of 16. Congratulations to Nicoract, and my condolences to EastToss. Did bring it to the ace match, did go the distance, but was not enough to go all the way. Barely was not enough. But again, congratulations to Nicoract. EastToss will have to try again in the lower match, in the cider match, in the rematch. Oh boy. Up next, we have EastToss versus Art.